Hey guys, welcome back. This is Yashua Suarez with Edge Realty Podcast. Today we have a special guest, none other than our reigning agent of the year, Miss Mindy Strand.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for being on the show with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Sorry. So, obviously, with being the agent of the year, what was that like? Kind of getting that award last year.
Blush right off the beginning. It's amazing because when I started, I didn't really know anybody here. I lived by a GPS, and I thought, I don't know if I can do this. You know, I don't have a sphere, and I don't know where the old McDonald's was or the nicknames for places. So I was like, I hope I can do this. I'm going to try. So to see that I got Agent of the Year, I mean, that's pretty big.
That's awesome. I mean, congratulations on that too. You earned that for real. So like myself, you're not originally from Arkansas. So
totally a northern.
I'm a Yankee all the way from Connecticut. So what was it? First of all, tell us a little bit about where you came from.
I came from, originally we grew up in Pawpaw, Michigan. So nice, they named it twice. And smaller town. And because my husband is military, he just kept bringing me further south. And I laugh now because when we got orders here, I cried. And he was like, what? And I was like, it's going to be hot. I can't go swimming there because I'll probably get eaten by an alligator. And he was just like, Mindy, I didn't know where I was moving to. And so now I'm still not going to go swimming in a pond or swamp thing around here. But I haven't seen any alligators. So.
There you go. I think there's one over in North Little Rock that everybody keeps taking a picture of. It's just a random one.
It's in
but
a
it's
swamp.
but it's like by himself. Yeah. It's like the only alligator around that everybody knows about. But So coming into Little Rock, into Arkansas, Little Rock Air Force Base, obviously. What was your first impression?
Actually, I thought it was really pretty here, and I was really impressed with how nice everybody was, because coming from a town where you know pretty much everybody, and then going to big city, we were in St. Louis before here, it was a lot different. And then we come here, and even though Little Rock, is a big city, everybody was just so friendly. I mean, people would stop and talk to me at the grocery store, and so it was a nice change. And I was pretty excited because when I first got here, I saw an armadillo on the side of the road, and I'd never seen one before. So we had to turn around and go back and look at it. But no, it's been good here. And my outlook on Arkansas has changed a lot. That's
good. That's great. So
I went from, oh my gosh, don't move me there, to, oh my gosh, don't get orders and take me away from here.
Right. Kind of same here. So my wife's military as well too. So we kind of been bouncing around. We came from Japan before here. So coming from Japan to here it's a huge change. But I was happy with it. You know what I mean? I was ready to come back stateside. And it was just, it was time. So going, what made you get into the real estate game? I know we've talked about it briefly before, but kind of keep going a little bit deeper into it.
So when before I was in real estate, I had a 2-year-old, a 6-month-old, and then I had another Ehrman's baby I took care of Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And she was, I had her as a newborn all the way till 1. So I had 3 little kids. And, I mean, I didn't go anywhere. I wasn't trying to chase 3 in public. And so my husband was deployed, and I just I didn't have any adult to talk to because none of the 3 spoke English yet. And so I was like, I want to go back to work, and I want to find something new to do, and I really think I would enjoy that. Now I'm not gonna lie, it's a little different than what I expected. I was like, oh, we just go look at pretty houses all day and make a little bit of money, and I don't think I knew exactly what all it entailed, but I'm happy I made the decision.
What was the biggest shock going into it? As far as like you said, it wasn't everything you expected.
The shock was I thought when I went in, I just pick my own hours, and I can only work one day if I want. And that's true to a point, but to hit my goals, I worked a lot more than I expected. I mean, I work sun up to sundown and a little bit after that. So there's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of there's just a lot that goes into it, and there's always more stuff I want to learn and get better at. You know, it's a long process, but I mean, I'm glad it is. It's good. It's just different than what I thought.
So like
it's not like what you see on HGTV.
For sure. Right. Now let's talk about your goals a little bit. So you like, what was compared to your first year to maybe last year's goal? Mm-hmm. Like, what was the biggest difference in your goals?
So my first year, I just wanted to see what I could do, how much I could do. And then about halfway through my first year, somebody said, you're on the list for Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year? I didn't know that was such a thing. I'm like, okay, cool. So that was kind of my goal, is, just to do really good my first year. So then my second year was, I just wanted to reach the next award and then the next award. And it was tough. But so my goal was about helping people and doing as much of it as I could and getting that little trophy at the end.
Of course, definitely. So you what you are really great at, and what I kind of always tell people to go talk to you about, is you run your real estate like a business. You know what I mean? So like you legitimately have taken it on and studied your way even through like the marketing side, the filing side, your finances side. So what was like the toughest part getting into that mindset?
So for me, it's kind of in my blood. My dad is a business owner. I've owned other businesses as well. And so technically we are self-employed. And I went into it just like that. If you want to build a business, you've got to invest in your business. You've got to know your numbers. You've got to know, all the information you can. Yes, it's going to cost money on the front end. Just like if you open a store and you don't have any money to open it and you're not planning on working, how's that store going to have anything in it, or anybody? It's not going to make any money. Mm-hmm. So the investment, I was prepared for that. And sometimes people aren't prepared for that when they come into it. But you also have to track your numbers and know what's working, what's not working. There's been a lot of marketing things I've done that have not worked. And that's fine. I evaluate it. I tried it. Didn't work. Change it into something else.
Trial and error.
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. It's trial and error. So, just tracking that. Oh, here comes the thunder.
There you go. I don't know if you guys heard that, but there's like a thunderstorm going on right now. All right.
But, yeah, that part was pretty easy for me. I like that part of it. I like seeing the numbers. I like having the process. I get stressed out very easily if things are not, in order of how they should be, or just even with time management. And when I started, I had this little planner and I would write everything down. Things change on a daily basis. So my mom, my wonderful mom, converted me to like a Google Calendar.
There you go.
And I'm like, I don't know about this technology.
Welcome to the 20th century.
That is my lifesaver. It'll be like, don't forget to pick up your kids. Oh, thank goodness. I didn't know it was time. So if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist.
Exactly. I tell people that all the time. Like, I think the guys on the team were getting super annoyed with me for a while because I had just the timers going off. Yeah. And so I didn't use the calendar as much. I was using like the timer. So like, at this time my alarm goes off, and it was like every like hour to 30 minutes. Like it's like, okay, you got to move on to your next task. Move on to your next task. And they're like, we all shared an office. It's probably about this size before, and it was 4 of us. I was the smallest guy. So like, you know what I mean? Imagine all of us being in the same room and like just constantly going off every single 30 minutes. I knew they were getting sick of it. But no, yeah, I gotta be the same way, because if not, like I'll get lost in a task, or just keep you on schedule for sure. So what I really wanted to talk about today was that you have one of the highest success rates in our company with listings. Oh. So I don't know if you knew that, but but you do. So I guess like my question, like our question that we wanted to kind of talk to you about a little more is how you go through the process of, helping your sellers and listing their homes and helping them meet their goals. So it's funny because when I started, I was basically a buyer's agent. I didn't know anybody to sell their home. And so that has come over 3 years of building relationships and, meeting people here and
people just kind of getting to know who I am. Maybe not personally, but like just seeing what I sell. And so what I do is I like to meet with the client at first. I can't tell you what your house is worth if I can't compare it to the market comparisons. So then it's, I'm also looking for things that might be brought up during an inspection, or something that maybe a buyer, something as simple as, let's say there's hot pink wall, and is it worth painting it, or is it going to scare somebody off? I mean, just going over the different options. But then it really comes down to the back end numbers. So I like to have different scenarios. Here's, what you could list it at. Here's what you could list it at. Here's what you could list it at. And here's the breakdown in that, because somebody puts a house for sale by owner on the internet or something. They may not realize all those fees that are going to go in the back end. And that's going to make a big difference on what you net. That could be a game changer for somebody if they want to sell and if they're in the position to sell.
Most definitely.
So having those numbers on the front end so you know exactly what you're getting into. I mean, I even try to go a little high with them, because I'd rather it be lower than higher than they expected.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we like to prepare for worst case scenario.
For sure. So other than maybe, commissions and also some repairs, what are some stuff that you feel may kind of get entangled in there whenever you're giving them like this net value, or
Closing costs are a huge thing. I don't think a lot of people realize buyers typically ask for closing costs, and they may say, "Oh, well, I didn't pay closing costs. I had a VA loan." No, closing costs and down payment are different, and there's still closing costs, and they probably didn't pay for them. I can't say when that started, that the buyer started asking for closing costs, but it's been that way since I've been in. And I mean, that's usually thousands of dollars right there that people don't necessarily think of. Termite policy, it's something that a lot of people let slide and forget to get it renewed every year. And then when they go to get a new policy, it's expensive. A lot of a lot of home buyers will ask for a home warranty, or maybe a survey of the property. So there's a lot of different things that could be asked in that offer. So let's prepare for all of it, and then see if we're comfortable with that net amount. And if we are, then, I mean, if they don't ask for it, it's just a bonus. But at least we're prepared.
Definitely. Okay. So what's like one of the first things that you do whenever someone calls you, says, "Hey, Mindy, I really need your help. I'm trying to sell my house. I have no idea what to do." What's kind of like the first process that you kind of take them through?
The first process is, I want to know, tell me a little bit about what's going on. Why are you moving? Tell me what you've done to the house. Tell me about the house. What you love about your house. And then setting up a time to meet, because it's just easier to see it in person, have that meeting, go over the numbers, I may look for things that they're not looking at. I may be like, "Oh, have you had anyone look at the foundation?" Well, I mean, they may not know what to look for. And I'm not saying I'm a foundation expert, but at the same point, we can get that stuff on the front end. The roof, when was the last time you got the roof taken care of? Never. Okay, let's have someone come out and make sure it's good before we put it on the market, because when it goes in the market, we want it to come on strong. So that's why we do professional pictures and a lot of marketing, because we want it to come on strong, and we want it to be good, and we want everyone to see how great it is.
Definitely. So you got to feature every highlight that it has on it. Definitely. Okay. So what are some difficulties that you maybe have run into, or things that some sellers maybe have told you that, "Oh, I heard about this, and does this work?" What are some misconceptions that you've kind of run across with sellers when it comes to either your job or selling home in general?
I mean, I have to think on this.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, misconception, like I said, people don't necessarily expect that they have to pay buyers' closing costs. They're like, why am I paying for their closing costs? And I've got my own to pay for.
Yeah.
I mean, that one is a huge one. I think the biggest misconception is just the price, not just looking at the sales price, but the price of everything behind it. And so that's why when we do that, when I do a net sheet, once I get an offer, I'm going to do the net sheet we had, and I'm going to compare it to the offer and say, okay, well, here's what this offer is actually looking at.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I have a lot of misconceptions, but usually they're more on the buyer's side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right now, everybody's like, oh, nobody wants to buy a house right now with everything going on. Yes, the market is crazy right now. And, you know, it's just everybody kind of has their own theories to it or thoughts on how it's done. And some people just come in and say, I literally have no idea. That's fine. That's what I'm here to help with.
So what's going into a process like that? How do you set them up for success other than obviously going through the house and, you know, looking at everything, going through the numbers? What's some steps that you go through to kind of tell them like, hey, expect this to happen or expect that to happen?
Yeah. You know, as far as like when I go through the house, I'm not coming through to nitpick it. I'm just looking at things that might be brought up. And let's say it does need a new roof. Okay. That's just one more selling feature that they would have asked for anyways and may have scared a lot of people off. That's just an example. I'm not there to pick it apart. But then we go through the process. You're going to have a super e-key box on the front door. It's going to tell me who comes in at what time, when they leave. You know, so that has a safety there in case, let's say all your stuff goes missing. We know who was there last.
Right.
But at the same point, let's not leave out valuables or medication or guns. And, you know, the part of leaving for showings, how the showings work. We have a showing service. They call, text, email, however they prefer. Is this time from 1 to 2 tomorrow okay? And if they say yes, okay, plan on being out of the house. Plan on maybe decluttering, not decluttering, but depersonalizing.
Yeah.
Because you want people
to
be
honest,
imagine...
Decluttering is a big one.
But also depersonalizing because when you go in a house, you want them to picture themselves living there. You don't want to picture them creeping in some random person's house.
Right.
Just like if they're there, it's awkward. You're going to meet somebody's house or meet somebody you don't know and look at their house. You don't want to be there.
Gotcha, yeah. So kind of going off of that a little bit, what do you feel, because there's been a lot of talk in like the real estate world, do you feel that an empty house, like a house that's already been moved out of, cleared out, it would sell better than a house that is still being lived in?
I get that question a lot, and I think it really depends on the house. Some houses, they are decorated so cute, and you just see where everything has its great little spot and how it works. And some you go in and they're vacant, you're like, what would this room be? Or what would you do with this section? And that now people are having to try and imagine it. Or do you think a bed would fit in here? Something like that versus seeing it and going, oh yeah, this is set up just great. But not everybody has their setup like that. And, you know, we all have crazy stuff going on. Sometimes we can't have our house furnished. We've already moved.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it can go either way. Sometimes it's nice to have the blank canvas. Sometimes it's nice to have the lines to color.
So it kind of goes off. It's whatever they can afford, whatever they can provide, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we can make it work one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, a vacant house is easy for effective showing. You don't have to, I mean, people may be driving by and say, hey, let's look at this one. Okay, great. Nobody lives there. We can get you in quick.
Right.
Versus, oh, somebody's there and they got to load up all the kids and the pets and get out.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What do you tell them as far as like when it comes to showings? I mean, because I know for one of the biggest things I tell my sellers is always, hey, try not to decline a showing.
No, we definitely want it to be shown as much as possible because say you decline it and say, well, tomorrow would be better. Tomorrow they may have already made a decision and yours didn't even get a chance. Right.
Because if they're calling, it's probably because they've already got a couple other showings lined up at that same time, that same day.
And right now, I mean, people are moving quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, we've got plenty of multi-offer situations. And I had one the other day that we listed. We had 8 offers on the first day.
Dang.
And so when everybody called the next day to show it, they said, well, I see it's under contract, but are they taking backup offers? Yeah, but we have backup offers already. I mean, man. So it's hard because they may not have seen it in time.
Right.
But at the same point, if we wouldn't have had any showings that day, we wouldn't have had 8 offers. So it made a huge difference because they're going that fast.
So what do you do? Oh dang! I just had the question. What do you do? You know what? I lost it.
I'm pretty excited. I'm still kind of in shock that I've got that many listings because I'm telling you, I went from no listings, and that was my goal, is to try over the year to get more listings.
I remember you were at the point where you felt like you were just getting mobile homes for the most part, which is nothing wrong with that.
Mobile
but it was
or land.
But it,
I
but
had
it
a
seemed
lot of
like
lots.
that was It seemed like that was your thing for a while. I think a lot of the investors were kind of seeing you, like, hey, Mindy, you want to help me out with this one too?
Yeah, they're like, oh, she sells cheap lots. Yeah, call her.
What was there like a vision when you first started, as far as like where you wanted to be today?
So when I first started altogether
in real
for the
estate,
year,
yeah, when you started real estate,
I'm the type that I like to be motivated, and I like to just do the best I can. So with my other businesses, it wasn't necessarily a goal of where I saw myself in the future. It was like, see how well I can do at it and try even harder. Learn from it, keep mastering it, learn from your mistakes, because there's always mistakes. There's always mistakes.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
if you don't learn from them, you don't grow from them. So I don't necessarily think if you would have asked me when I started, oh, do you think you're going to be agent of the year? No. No, I do not. But that's nice.
It's funny how, like, I think we were just talking about that. How, like, we were just talking about, like, as far as, like a year ago or 2 years, 5 years ago, whatever it is, did you feel like you would have this type of setup?
Well, yeah, because I had just asked, looking at all your setup, I'm like, did you picture this 10 years ago, that this is what you'd be doing?
And honestly, no. I mean, I saw this as this would be a great hobby. Yeah. This would be something that would be really fun to do just on the side, you know what I mean? Or maybe even as a freelance type thing. And kind of like doing the video, doing the podcast, doing the audio, stuff like that. I think it was just more of like, this would be fun. I was into movies and into podcasts. Yeah. So like, I was just like, oh, that'd be cool to do one day. And now, now actually, like, it's cool, like, to get, paid for it. You know what I mean? It's my job. It's kind of cool. Right. So, but yeah, kind of like, did you feel that same way as far as?
No, I mean, if you would have asked me where I thought I was going to be, I don't know what I wouldn't, this isn't what I would have guessed, but it's kind of fun how things land in place and you find yourself where you're meant to be, mm-hmm. and to be, to do good at it. That's pretty exciting.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know what I thought I would have done. I had all sorts of ideas.
What's something that you thought you would have done before you got into real estate? What's some, like, a career that you would see yourself doing?
To be honest, from when I was, younger, my goal was always to be a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay at home with my kids, and don't get me wrong, I still love, being a parent, but now they're in school, and it's just kind of nice to have that break. And yeah. It's also kind of created an independence for me. I'm out, able to provide for my family. I've, grown a ton of great relationships out of it, and my kids are doing good. We're all doing good. So it gives us all that little space and time to grow ourselves as, we go through. So I loved being a stay-at-home mom, but yeah, that's what I thought I would probably do forever.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome though. So like, it's crazy how, like you said, the opportunities that life gives you, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you just kind of roll with it. Especially
with my husband being in the military, it's hard to think of a long-term career because we move, and so that's why now I'm like, don't even move on me. I say all the time, I'm like, if you get orders, I'll see you when you come back. And he's like, no, you wouldn't. And I'm like, I might. And he goes, what if I got Hawaii or Guam? I'm like, all right, I'll come with. Like, I guess it depends. But it would be hard to start all over.
Yeah, I think this was the first career move that I think that I've done since since I got out of the military, and since I was a spouse in the military. Mm-hmm. It was probably like the biggest change. And it was tough for a while because I am very much more, I need to be working. I need to be doing something.
Oh yeah.
I can't, I did the stay-at-home parent for a year, and It was tough.
It is tough.
I couldn't handle it.
Kids are ruthless.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And I only had one, at that time, and it was rough. I don't know if I couldn't handle it. Like, I guess to me, I'm a very social person. Mm-hmm. So even at work, I'm very social. I'm always talking to people and stuff like that. And I couldn't. I don't know. It was tough. Like I loved it. I was there for the first year of my daughter's life, and I was the one that was taking care of her, and it was great. But I think the fact that we're in another country, and we're only secluded kind of to the base for the most part. I think that was that was a rough part for me.
Well, and that's something too that we have to think about is not only do we have to worry about orders and stuff, but our schedules are different. I mean, my husband is gone a lot, so that it's hard. If I had a different job, I may miss those school plays. I may, if my kids are sick, I'm missing the whole day of work. I mean, I'm still missing it, but I can now schedule in the time to be part of those things.
Right.
And I mean, when, for instance, the schools shut down with COVID, I don't know what a lot of people did if their job didn't send them home, because who was going to watch their kids? So there is the flexibility sometimes in our job, but at the same point, I mean, I'm the type like you. I like to be busy. I don't like to be bored. I'm always go, go, go. I'm high energy and social, so it's just a good fit.
This career definitely was a good fit. I mean, and I agree with you on that as well too, as far as scheduling wise. Because I felt the same way. Like, I was in sales before, and even though it was a good job, I was getting paid really well, but it was a set schedule, and it was that way or no way, basically. You know what I mean? And
you having get so many sick days, and
exactly,
you gotta be there at this time and leave at this time.
Not only that, but then like the hours that we are scheduled, it was not conducive for somebody that has a family. You know what I mean? It was getting out at 6:30, being home by 7 p.m. And then basically you're working all day already as it is, and then like you said, missing those opportunities, missing those certain points in your kid's life and stuff like that. Yeah. It's just it was something had to move. Something had to give, and I think that's when I kind of made the choice as well too. I think the biggest one was when I couldn't take off for my daughter's birthday. Yeah. That was a rough one.
That is hard.
So I was like, yep, that was the last straw. And I was just about 3 weeks later, or I think that next week, I talked to JC, and was like, hey, do you need an assistant? Yeah. was my first question. I called JC and I was like, hey man, do you need an assistant? Because I was looking at like all these real estate videos and like people that were getting into real estate, and they were saying, hey, the smartest way to do is when you get in real estate is to get on a team, which I still agree to till today, to be honest with you. I mean, it depends on you obviously, but if you're someone that needs a little bit more motivation, a little bit more guidance, then yes, going onto a team is probably going to be the best thing. Again, me not knowing anybody here, I was just like, yeah, that's probably going to be the best thing for me. Yeah. Yeah, so I talked to JC and I was like, hey, do you need an assistant? And his first question was like, who have you been talking to? Because apparently the way what happened was he had a coach at the time, and I believe he still does, but he had a coach at the time, and his coach was telling him, you need to start bringing in some talent on your team, or some more people on your team to, take care of certain things, give them certain jobs. Now he had a team already, but then when I came along, it was more for like the marketing, the social media side of everything. Yeah. And so, that's kind of that. He already knew I kind of had that background because I worked with him doing videos and stuff like that with JC before, doing videos for you guys originally. But
I wasn't there. I don't think I was there for the original videos.
Were you not?
No.
Yeah. I think you went somewhere, but you were with Edge at the time though, because it was. I think because I'd met you like I met you like the week after or something like that when I came back and I was like trying to show everybody. I met a lot of people,
so I'm sorry, I don't remember.
No, yeah, I don't remember exactly when. I just remember it was in the old office, but it was Yeah, it was just funny the way that worked out, because it was just it was meant to be. It was like the right time.
Yeah.
It was a perfect time. So,
but that's exactly it. Is it just like we were saying? It's kind of funny to picture where we're at, but we found right where we needed to be. It's just right time.
That's so true. That's so true. Okay, let's get back on topic. Going into like the listing side. So say, once you have the house listed, what's the next steps after that?
So before we list it, we have the professional pictures. We've got the lockbox on the door. We've got a sign in the yard, and then we're putting it into the MLS. And when it's an MLS, it's going to have, a place for agents to be able to call. It's our showing time services, and that's where they'll be able to set up, again, about showing request time, and then it'll automatically send a feedback. Let us know what you thought about it. So if we don't have a lot of traffic in the first week or two, maybe we need to look at the price. Why are people not looking at this? Mm-hmm. And that's why we try to come in looking at the comps in the front end, because if we just throw a number out there, that's not going to work. But if we are having showings and we're getting a lot of feedback, and maybe that hot pink wall or whatever, everybody's saying, oh no, I can't do the pink wall. Maybe it's a cheap, easy fix that would be more appealing to somebody. So there's, right. At that point, we can go over what's happening. Now, on the other hand, and we're doing, open houses and videos and all sorts of marketing. But once it goes under contract, now we're going back to that net sheet and we're comparing. If we have multiple offers, we're lining them up and saying, okay, here's what your offers look like. Here's how they all look at the bottom of mm-hmm. this. So then once they make a decision and we go under contract, now the buyers have 10 business days to do repairs. 10 business days to do inspection. Mm-hmm. So a home inspector will likely come in and they check everything. So, they're going to find something. We have... Do
you tell your sellers, like, hey, just be prepared for...
Absolutely. Okay. We have new construction. They'll still have something on it. Mm-hmm. Now, does it mean it's going to be something crazy? I don't know. But, let's see what that is. So when we get that list back of what they're asking for, now we have 5 business days to get quotes. So we're making calls. We're calling people, saying, how much is it going to cost to fix this? How much is it going to cost to fix this? And that way we can make a good decision on, okay, is that doable? Is that something we can afford to do? And if not, is there somewhere in between that we can kind of negotiate these? So then, we've got title work going, probably looking real quick to find you another house. Mm-hmm. Because that's another thing is with the market being so busy, a lot of people aren't taking contingent offers. So it's all about lining it up right. And so that's why in the first place it's good to know what the situation is. Are you military and you have orders and you've got to be by such and such date? Okay, we've got it lined up. So this will close after you move. If it closes after they move, we can do a mail out and have their closing docs mailed to them. Mm-hmm. So, in the meantime, title work is getting done. Repairs are getting done. We get to closing day, and a seller's closing packet, way smaller than a buyer's. The buyers come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I have writer's cramp. And the sellers are like, that wasn't so bad. I don't know what you're talking about. But, at the end, I make them take a picture with me. Some of them love that.
Do you make them do the testimonials as well, too?
No, you make them too.
Yeah, I do. That's me. Awesome. All right. So what is, now that we kind of got an idea of how, so it is a little bit, I guess, less hectic in a way when it comes to the selling side than the buying side. Mm-hmm. Mainly because of the fact is like, you're not having to search. People are kind of coming to you for that
right.
Matter. But obviously when it gets to repairs and stuff like that, it's definitely a different story.
But that's the thing too, whether I'm on the buyer side or the seller side, I know a lot of people don't know what the steps are. So I'm going to kind of give you a brief quick steps of what they are, but I'm going to walk you through all of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure to remind you, okay, for instance of buyers, okay, congrats, you're under contract. Now you need to start looking for a home inspector. Mm-hmm. Have you thought about who you want to get insurance through with yet? So the steps are there, but I don't expect someone to memorize them.
Right, right.
Just like when we get a repair list and the seller goes, "That's a lot of stuff. That could be a fortune." No. Let's look at the facts. Let's get professionals out here to give us quotes before we make a decision.
And not only that too, it's not like a demand. That's why they call it the request. The request
right.
for repairs, and it's like the way I tell them is they're going to do one of four. You can do one of four things. You can do them all. Mm-hmm. You can do none. You can do some, or you can basically give them allowance at closing.
And the allowance can be a tricky part too, because it depends on the loan type.
Right.
So, we can go over those options to make sure it's going to work with that loan type, but I don't ever want anyone to feel overwhelmed. Moving is overwhelming enough, and especially when you're talking about your biggest financial investment, I get it stressful. So I sometimes have a problem with this, like, take on the stress as much as I can.
Yeah.
And sometimes my husband's like, "You are way too stressed. This is not even about you." And I'm like, but that's how involved I get with my clients, because I put myself in their situation. I know, they've probably got enough stress as it is. I want to help any way I can.
Absolutely.
And by this point, we've built a relationship, They're entrusting me to help them with this big decision.
That's the biggest thing too, is the fact that they're trusting you. They're putting
huge.
That into your hands, and that's a big responsibility on our end. So we want to take it as it was our own.
Yeah.
So to not be stressed out, to not
I'm just naturally a stressful ball of anxiety.
But you take it on your own, though. I mean, like you have to go with those strides, and you have to kind of feel that involved in the situation, because it almost becomes personal, but not on in a business or a transaction mindset, but more personal, as in like you want to help them out, you want the best for them, So yeah. Absolutely. Totally understand that. Now before we kind of keep going on, like I wanted to touch a little bit, because you started a team this year.
Yes.
So you guys have the key team with you, team. Morgan, and Nick as well too. So what made you? And I know from seeing you talk to JC quite a bit of creating a team here and there for quite some time now.
A long time. I have a little bit of commitment issues.
I think pretty much ever since I started, I remember you talking about that.
Because I was so busy and stressed, and I wanted to help everybody, and there just wasn't enough time in the day. Mm-hmm. But I was so scared, because I'm entrusting somebody with my clients, and I, of course, want to be there with them every moment of the time, but I don't want, I just was so busy I couldn't do it all. So it's kind of scary to entrust somebody with your business.
Yes.
And entrust that they're going to take care of them the same way you would. And so I kind of started off on a trial basis with them, but that's another huge thing for us as far as listings, because when you hire the key team to sell your house, you get 3 of us for the same price as one. And that means there's 3 of us working to sell that house, 3 of us marketing it, 3 of us you can get a hold of if you have a question. It's 3 for the price of 1. You can't beat it. But, we all have our strengths. And so the other day we were at a listing appointment, and they said, "Yeah, we're looking to buy a condo. Who, do y'all work with condos?" We're like, "Nick's your guy." And then they were like, "Well, how confident are you at selling in Jacksonville?" I'm like, "Oh, Mindy's your girl." And then they said, it was just funny how it kind of all lined up, that we all had those roles, and we're like, we can all help. We can help with all of it.
Heck yeah.
And again, when you're marketing 3 different ways, or if you're having open houses, we can all have open houses the same Sunday. More people are out driving around if there's more to go see. It's been really great, because maybe I have somebody that can give a quote on a repair, and maybe Morgan has somebody else, and that way they can compare their options. I mean, it's just been really good having the 3 of us together and teamed up, and I think it's been great for our clients as
That's
well.
awesome, and you guys are already, I mean, proving that. I mean,
I'm pretty proud.
I'm gonna say, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are on track already to probably surpass your goal that you had originally for the year, you already set it high. You thought you were like, oh, this is gonna be a little high. Let's go for it anyways.
I mean, literally, when we set our goal, at first we were talking about the goal, and we said, okay, we'd like to do, I don't know, maybe 10 million. Is that too much? And JC goes, you need to make it 14 million. JC, you didn't even sell 14 million last year. What are you thinking? You have a team. And he was like, I'm telling you, you can do it. I'm like, all right. So I get my little chart and my little color thing so I can color up the graph. And I've broke it down by how much we need per month. And, you know, I want to have 100 transactions this year. I want to help 100 different sets of people. And that is a lot. And right now we are very close to not only hitting our goal, not of both goals, goal of 100 transactions and the goal of 14 million. And we will still have months to go before the year ends. And so I look at our little chart and I'm just like, pretty proud of you boys. Pretty proud of us.
That is awesome. Well, congratulations, dude. This is huge. And I'm so happy for you with all the success that's already came and the success that's going to come here in the future. I mean, it's awesome to see that, you know what I mean? And then creating your own team as well too. I think that's and
I
capitalizing
took the plunge
on it.
And it worked.
Right, exactly. And that's like you said, it's trial and error.
Yeah.
And you did it, and you know the trial worked. So keep rolling with the punches, man.
It's just great that we've worked so well together because it is scary. Like, what if something did happen and we didn't realize we didn't work that well together? They're like, Mindy drives me crazy because she's. But
maybe a little true already, but you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, but they haven't quit on me. So, but at the same point, how would that look if we? You know, those were the things I start getting in my head about.
Yeah.
And so to see that we're doing so well together and we're knocking it out, I mean, that's really exciting, and I'm just proud. We did good together.
You should be. You should be proud. Absolutely. You guys all should be proud. You guys have a good mesh. You know what I mean? You guys haven't killed each other because you guys are all in the same office as well too. So
I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the hardest thing, is sharing an office. I was sometimes that's still a thing.
Well, awesome, dude. Well, dude, again, thank you so much for coming on here. This was great. I think this is hopefully a little more informative, kind of letting people know how you guys, you know, do what you do, which is listing homes and selling homes and helping people meet their goals and moving on to their next chapters as well too. Yeah. So this kind of gives everybody a little bit more insight. Is there anything else that you guys, obviously you have your goals, you have, you know, what do you guys see for the future for not only the Key team, but for Mindy Strand?
I think for the future, I mean, I think if we keep doing what we're doing, we can help a lot more people. And really that's what it's about. It's about helping people. And like I said, your biggest financial decision and getting to be part of that and entrusted in helping with that, that's huge. And so the more people we can help and the more people that we have helped and are happy, that's success right there. So I just want to keep doing that. Amen. That's right. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. This is Yashua Suarez with Edge Realty. Again, my guest today, the one and only Mindy Strand from the Key team. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And if you guys need any help, call her up. Call the Key team up as well, too. All right, guys. Until next time, talk to you soon. Bye.